How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. A few months ago, I was at a small get-together with friends. Everyone else was talking effortlessly. Movies, work, random stories, switching between conversations like it took no effort at all. And I just sat there, wanting to join in, but not knowing how. Not because I was shy, not because anything was wrong. I just didn't know what to say. It's that quiet hesitation many introverts know. You have thoughts, but the moment you try to speak, you overthink, and the moment slips away. People assume you're distant or uninterested, when in reality, you want to connect. You just don't know where to start. Driving home that night, one question kept repeating in my head. Why is talking so easy for some people and so difficult for others? So I searched something I had never typed before. How to talk so people listen. And almost every article, every video, every recommendation pointed me toward one book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I picked it up expecting simple social tips, but what I found was a guide to understanding people, their emotions, their needs, and the small habits that make conversations feel natural and enjoyable. Even applying a few ideas makes a difference. People respond better, conversations flow easier, and expressing yourself feels less scary. If you've ever struggled to open up, to blend in, or just feel understood, you're not alone. And this book might change the way you communicate. So let's dive into the ideas that help you speak better, connect deeper, and build relationships that last. Part 1. Fundamental Techniques in Handling People. If you want to gather honey, don't kick the beehive. Principle 1. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. We often assume criticism teaches. We think someone will nod and say, I get it now, thank you. But people don't work that way. Criticism puts them on the defensive. Pride kicks in. They justify themselves. They don't think, I should improve. They think, you don't understand. You're judging me. Let me explain why I'm right. Even hardened criminals rationalize their actions. Al Capone truly believed he was a misunderstood public benefactor. If a gangster can justify his behavior, imagine how your friend, coworker, or sibling will defend theirs. Any fool can criticize, condemn, and complain, and most fools do, but it takes character and self-control to be understanding and forgiving. Criticism is punishment in disguise. Reward works. Punishment shuts people down. That's what B.F. Skinner showed us. Bob Hoover, a famous test pilot, once discovered his plane had been filled with the wrong fuel. Lives were nearly lost. The mechanic responsible was shaking, expecting anger. But Hoover calmly said, "To show you I'm sure you'll never make this mistake again, I want you to service my plane tomorrow." That moment didn't humiliate him. It strengthened him, restored his confidence, made him safer. Criticism tears down, understanding builds up. When dealing with people, you are not dealing with creatures of logic, but creatures of emotion, bristling with prejudices and motivated by pride and vanity. Instead of saying, "You messed up," look for what they were trying to do right. Understand the reason behind the mistake. It's not softness, it's strategy. People grow from respect, not attacks. Principle 2. Give honest and sincere appreciation. People work harder for appreciation than they ever will for criticism, yet most go unnoticed. Effort assumed, patience expected, kindness overlooked. Everyone wants to feel important, not in a flashy way, just important to someone. Flattery isn't enough. It exaggerates, manipulates, feels fake instantly. Real appreciation is specific, genuine, rooted in truth. Even a small acknowledgement changes everything. I appreciate how you handled that situation. It motivates more than 1,000 instructions. People don't crave praise. They crave being seen. Be hearty in your approbation and lavish in your praise. Sincere appreciation strengthens relationships. Criticism pushes people away. Flattery breaks trust, but real recognition brings people closer. Most aren't looking for perfection, they just want to be seen. Principle 3. Arouse in the other person an eager want. Influence starts here. People don't care about what you want, they care about what they want. We constantly frame conversations around ourselves. I need this. I want that. This benefits me. But people follow interest, not pressure. Think about fishing. You love cheesecake, but you don't put cheesecake on the hook. You put a worm, because that's what the fish wants. Human conversations work the same way. Before you speak, ask, what does this person value? What outcome matters to them? What are they trying to achieve? How can this help them, not just me? A relative only responded to letters when $5 were mentioned at the end, even if the money wasn't actually included. Why? Because the letters spoke to what they wanted. This isn't manipulation, it's perspective. People naturally gravitate toward conversations that move them closer to their goals. Influence doesn't come from pressure, it comes from alignment. Part 2, 6 ways to make people like you. Building connections isn't about clever lines or being extroverted. Often, the smallest behaviors shape how people feel around you. These ideas help conversations feel natural and relationships grow without effort. Let's begin. 1. Become genuinely interested in other people. Here's a quiet truth. You don't become likable by trying to be interesting. You become likable by being interested. There's a reason the book compares this to a dog's affection. A dog doesn't impress you with achievements. It doesn't try to be charming. It just shows pure interest, and people instantly feel warmth. Humans respond the same way. Most people go through life feeling unnoticed, their work unappreciated, their stories unheard, their struggles unseen. So when someone shows genuine curiosity, asks about their day, their goals, their challenges, they feel valued. Carnegie shares an example of a writer who attended a social event determined not to impress anyone. Instead, he asked sincere questions. By the end of the night, people called him one of the most fascinating conversationalists. He barely spoke about himself. The lesson is simple, not forced questions, not interrogations, just real interest. People open up to those who care, and they remember how you made them feel. 2. Smile. A smile is a quiet signal that says, "I'm glad you're here." One small example from the book. A man challenged himself to greet everyone with a sincere smile for just one day. His family, coworkers, strangers. He was surprised how differently people responded. Doors opened, conversations softened, tension dissolved. Carnegie writes, "The expression one wears on one's face is far more important than the clothes one wears on one's back." A smile doesn't need to be bright or exaggerated, just natural. People can sense whether it's genuine, and a real one makes the world around you gentler, one interaction at a time. 3. Remember that a person's name is the sweetest sound to them. A name is more than identification, it's identity. There's a story of a store clerk who went out of his way to remember customers' names. People felt so valued that they traveled extra distance just to buy from him because he made them feel recognized. Carnegie calls a person's name the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Forgetting a name or getting it wrong can create distance instantly, but remembering a name makes people feel seen in a way that stays with them. This principle isn't about memorization tricks, it's about attention. Focus during introductions. Repeat the name once, use it naturally. A small effort for you, a meaningful moment for them. 4. Be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. Most people don't truly listen. They wait for their turn, but the person who listens, really listens, stands out. There's a famous dinner story. A guest spent hours listening to a botanist speak passionately about plants, soil, research, experiments. He said almost nothing. He simply listened with interest. Later, the botanist told the host, "That man was one of the most interesting people I've ever met." This shows the power of listening. Being heard makes people feel important. It makes them feel safe to open up. And when someone opens up to you, they naturally grow closer to you. Listening is not quietness, it's connection. 5. Talk in terms of the other person's interests. People are most engaged when the conversation touches something they genuinely care about. Not what you want to talk about, what they value. One example from the book. A father struggled to engage his son until he began speaking to him in terms of the boy's interests, toys, adventures, favorite stories. Instantly, the emotional wall disappeared. People light up when the topic matches their passion. And the moment they feel that shift, they associate that positive emotion with the person who brought it out. Talking in their terms isn't manipulation, it's respect. 6. Make the other person feel important. And do it sincerely. This is the core idea behind likability. People crave importance, silently, constantly, universally. Not flattery, not exaggeration, just recognition. Carnegie shares a story of a man meeting the president. Instead of trying to impress him, he focused on making the president feel valued. He spoke about the president's achievements, asked about his interests, and sincerely expressed admiration. The president later said it was one of the most pleasant conversations he'd ever had. Why? Because people are drawn to those who make them feel important. There's a quote that captures it perfectly. Talk to people about themselves and they will listen for hours. Notice strengths, acknowledge effort, appreciate qualities, genuinely. People don't remember everything you say, but they always remember how you made them feel. The simple pattern behind all 6 principles. Look closely, and all 6 ideas point to one truth. People like those who make them feel valued, not entertained, not impressed, not manipulated, valued. Show interest, offer warmth, use names, listen deeply, speak to their interests, acknowledge their importance. These aren't techniques, they're habits that quietly transform conversations and make relationships more meaningful everywhere, in friendships, family, work, and life. Part 3. Win people to your way of thinking. This part centers on something we all face: how to influence without arguing, how to guide without pushing, and how to communicate without triggering resistance. 1. The only way to win an argument is to avoid it. People rarely change their minds because of pressure. There's a story of a man who spent hours debating politics with a friend. By the end, both were frustrated, and neither had changed their view. He later realized something simple: a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. Arguments don't fix beliefs, they harden them. Instead of trying to win, it's far more effective to start with, what's your perspective? Walk me through your thinking. Why do you feel strongly about this? Once someone feels heard, the heat drops out of the conversation, and real discussion can finally begin. 2. Show respect for their opinion. Never say, "You're wrong." There's an example of a scientist who made a public claim, only to be proven wrong later. Instead of defending himself, he graciously acknowledged the new facts. People admired his humility, and he gained even more respect than if he had been right. That's the power of letting go of the phrase, "You're wrong." A softer approach like, "I might be mistaken, here's how I see it," invites conversation instead of triggering defensiveness. It's not about being weak, it's about staying effective. 3. If you're wrong, admit it quickly and clearly. One man shared a story about receiving a parking ticket he knew he deserved. Instead of arguing with the officer, he admitted the mistake instantly. The officer, surprised by the honesty, tore up the ticket. There's a line in the book that captures it perfectly. When you're wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. Nothing diffuses tension faster than sincere responsibility. It turns confrontation into cooperation in seconds. 4. Begin in a friendly way. There's an example of someone trying to resolve a financial disagreement. Originally, the conversation was stiff and formal. No progress. Then he tried something different. He approached calmly, warmly, almost like reconnecting with an old friend. The entire mood shifted. Suddenly, both sides wanted a solution instead of a victory. A friendly beginning lays the emotional foundation for a successful outcome. 5. Get the other person saying yes early. This principle comes from psychology experiments showing that when someone begins with yes, their mind stays open. There's a small story of a salesperson who always began meetings with questions the customer was guaranteed to agree with. You want something reliable, right? You prefer to save time where possible? Yes, yes. By the time he presented the actual offer, the customer was already mentally aligned. Little yeses create momentum toward the bigger yes. 6. Let the other person talk more. There's a story of a man trying to convince a potential partner. He planned a long pitch, but instead he simply asked a few questions and let the other person do most of the talking. By the end, the other person believed he had convinced himself. And that is the key. People believe ideas more deeply when they believe those ideas came from within. Listening isn't passive, it's strategic. 7. Let them feel the idea is theirs. During a project debate, instead of presenting his own solution directly, a man described the problem and asked the team, "What approach do you think would work best?" Someone suggested the exact solution he had in mind. They adopted it enthusiastically, not because it was forced, but because they owned it. People protect what they help create. 8. Try honestly to see things from their point of view. There's a powerful example. A father struggled with his son skipping school. Instead of punishing him, he tried to understand the boy's perspective, his fear, his embarrassment, his frustration. That shift in understanding opened the door to a real solution. There's a line that captures this principle. Success in dealing with people depends on a sympathetic grasp of the other person's viewpoint. When you understand someone's world, you unlock cooperation instead of conflict. 9. Be sympathetic to their feelings and desires. A businessman once dealt with a frustrated customer. Instead of lecturing or defending the company, he simply said, "If I were in your position, I would feel the same way." The customer softened instantly, not because the problem disappeared, but because the emotion was acknowledged. Human beings want to feel understood before they want solutions. 10. Appeal to the nobler motives. There's a story of a grocery clerk accused of shortchanging a customer. The manager approached calmly and said, "You're known here for being honest. This must have been a simple mistake." The clerk became more careful than ever. Appealing to higher motives brings out the best in people. 11. Dramatize your ideas. In one example, instead of simply telling people that his product saved time, a salesman demonstrated it dramatically, pouring sand through 2 hourglasses to show the difference. People understood instantly. Sometimes the best way to make a point is to show, not tell. Throw down a respectful challenge. One factory used competition to increase employee efficiency. Not pressure, just a simple scoreboard showing progress. Workers rose to the challenge naturally. They were proud to outperform themselves. People crave achievement. A gentle challenge can awaken that drive. The silent pattern behind all these principles. Every idea in this section comes down to this. Lower resistance and the mind becomes open. Influence isn't about pushing, it's about creating the emotional space where good ideas can land. Part 4. Be a leader. How to guide people without creating resentment. Leading people, at work, in friendships, or even in family, is less about control and more about understanding human nature. People want guidance, yes, but no one wants to feel corrected, embarrassed, or pushed. These principles show how to help people grow without hurting their confidence. Let's explore them with real examples to bring each idea to life. 1. Begin with praise and honest appreciation. A small compliment at the start of a conversation can transform the entire tone. There's a story of an employee who received a letter. The first lines praised his work, highlighted his dedication, and appreciated his effort. Only after that came a gentle suggestion on something that needed improvement. He didn't feel attacked, he felt valued, and because of that, he actually listened. That's the power of starting with appreciation. You're not hiding the truth, you're making it easier to hear. 2. Call attention to mistakes. Indirectly pointing at someone and saying, "That's wrong," rarely leads to improvement. A small shift is enough. Instead of, "Why did you do this?" Something like, "This part looks like it could work even better," keeps their dignity intact. One example from the book describes a woman who corrected her husband's table manners not by lecturing him, but by subtly adjusting her own behavior in front of him. He noticed. He changed. No argument, no embarrassment. Indirect guidance works because it protects pride. 3. Talk about your own mistakes before pointing out theirs. There's a story of a man who needed to correct his son. Instead of scolding, he started by describing a similar mistake he made years ago and how he learned from it. Only then did he mention the boy's behavior. The boy didn't feel judged, he felt understood. Admitting your own mistakes turns criticism into connection. 4. Ask questions instead of giving direct orders. People react differently when they're invited instead of commanded. A simple, "What do you think about trying it this way?" or "Could we adjust this part together?" creates cooperation, not resistance. There's a beautiful example in the book. A manager needed an employee to make a change. Instead of giving orders, he asked, "Do you think this new method might be easier?" The employee adopted it immediately because it felt like his decision. Ask questions instead of giving direct orders. It works everywhere: work, home, friendships. 5. Let the other person save face. Mistakes sting. Public mistakes sting even more. One supervisor noticed an employee made a serious error that could have embarrassed him in front of the team. Instead of pointing it out loudly, he stepped aside with him privately and discussed it calmly. The employee corrected it immediately and never repeated the mistake. Helping someone save face is one of the most respectful gifts you can give. Hot 6. Praise the slightest improvement and praise every improvement. People grow when they feel encouraged. Even small progress matters. There's an example of a father whose son struggled academically. Instead of criticizing, he praised every bit of improvement, no matter how small. Slowly, the boy transformed, not because of pressure, but because of belief. This principle is summed up in one line: praise the slightest improvement and praise every improvement. Encouragement builds momentum where criticism would have crushed it. 7. Give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. When you tell someone what they're capable of at their best, you give them a standard they naturally want to reach. A worker once struggled with accuracy. Instead of calling him careless, his supervisor said, "You've always been someone who takes pride in doing things right. I trust your eye for detail." The employee lived up to that reputation, not out of obligation, but out of pride. People rise to the identity you believe in. 8. Make the fault seem easy to fix. When a mistake feels huge, people freeze. But when it feels manageable, they're ready to improve. One story describes a team member who kept making errors in reports. Instead of saying, "You keep doing this wrong," his manager said, "This part is simple. We just need a tiny adjustment." The employee felt relieved and corrected it immediately. Small word choices shift someone from fear to confidence. 9. Make the other person happy about doing what you suggest. This principle isn't about tricking people. It's about helping them see why your suggestion benefits them too. A business owner needed an employee to take on a challenging task. Instead of forcing it, he framed it as an opportunity, a chance to showcase skill and grow within the company. The employee accepted the task willingly and performed brilliantly. People commit more deeply when they see how a choice helps them grow. The thread connecting all these principles. Every idea in this section leads to one truth: people improve faster when their dignity stays intact. Leadership isn't about pointing out what's wrong. It's about creating an environment where people feel capable of doing what's right. When someone feels respected, they listen, they grow, and they trust you more deeply. In the end, none of these principles are complicated, just small shifts in how you treat people. Less criticism, more appreciation, better listening. Use even one, and conversations feel lighter, people respond better, and relationships quietly improve. Finally, take action. As we wrap up, here are the 3 most actionable ideas. 1. Names noticing. Use someone's name and sincerely notice one thing they did well. Example, "Hey Rohan, good morning." 2. Listen 70%, talk 30%. Let them speak more. No interrupting, no rushing. 3. Give one genuine compliment a day. Specific, real appreciation builds trust. Example, "Hey, you handled that really well." Become the person you want to be, one step at a time. Which of these will you start today? Comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.